In late December 2021, I started seeing beaver tracks along the stream where I live, and I decided to put up a wildlife camera to see what's going on at night. I got lucky the first night and the camera recorded a beaver. The next camera location was even better. Look at all these cool videos of the beavers carrying around wood. It was also interesting to see what other animals crossed the path. There are also a lot of foxes, and this one seems to have a skin disease called mange. Our black cat friend Blackie is marking its territory. I then found more tracks around there, so I thought I'll change the location of the camera to see what's going on. And sure enough, the first night already, I'm seeing the beaver being super busy carrying a lot of wood to the stream, scratching his belly, eating away. Next night, the beaver came back. At this point, I actually did not know if there were one or two beavers. I thought it was one beaver at this point. And this night was super busy. He or she was carrying a whole lot of branches to the water. I was amazed how lucky I was placing this camera right there, because it really seemed like the beaver had its spot there to eat and carry branches to, and kind of building a little dam there between the old tree trunk and the side of the stream. And he's piling up a whole lot of branches. It already got light and the beaver was still there. The beaver came back the next night and went back to work. And look at this as he's just cleaning himself right in front of the camera. I thought that was super cool. On that night, another animal friend came across the camera. Look at his weird tail. I guess our beaver friend really liked that spot. I got a whole lot of nice video material of him carrying branches into the wood, enjoying them, eating them, munching on them. I really like how the beaver brought this big branch down to the stream and was eating on it, enjoying it. It was like the camera was perfectly set for this recording. See how powerful his jaw is, that he can carry this whole thing. You see him giving himself a belly rub. And the night is still not over. He's still carrying a lot of branches to the water, munching. You notice it's getting lighter as it's in the morning. And you see how it started raining that day really, really hard. It really flooded the stream. You don't even see any ground anymore. The next morning I get to the stream, I'm like, well, where's my camera? It really looked like it was flooded. And I found it, but it was in the water. And at this point I did not know if it was working or not, so I put it in rice so the rice could absorb the moisture. I continued going to the stream without my wild camera, but with my normal camera, and I found the beaver one morning. And I didn't realize that he had a nick in his tail, so I decided to call him Nick. And I also saw how he was going into a hole. I was like, it's weird that he's going into a hole which is not underneath the water, as beavers usually have an underground entrance to their beaver lodge. Here you can really see the nick in its tail. You see Nick cleaning himself before going to bed. Beavers are constantly grooming and oiling their fur in order to keep it waterproof. They have a gland on the underside of their abdomen where they excrete an oily substance to use during the grooming process. They also use it to mark their territory like that. My wild camera was up and running again, so I decided to put it in front of the hole where Nick got in. And also that morning, Nick was there again. Look at those orange teeth. Beaver have iron in their enamel, and that's why they're colored so orange. The iron makes the teeth stronger and more resistant. I was really concentrated on Nick that morning. It was really nice to watch him eat again. But then I moved over to the side stream, and all of a sudden I was like, well, there's another beaver. Look at that one. And you see there's a really white patch on the side of this beaver's back or tummy. So I decided to call this one Patchie. And look, Patchie was smelling me at that point in time, but didn't really bother and just continued eating. I guess Patchie is an older beaver because of the white fur color. This is Nick swimming to the other side of the stream. And Nick started to clean itself again. The belly rub turns into a back rub to make sure that all the fur is waterproof again. You see Patchie are swimming to another place to eat some more, and also to get out of the water and clean itself. Beavers don't actually eat wood. They cut down trees to form dams, and they eat the tree bark or the softer layers of the wood underneath the bark. Here you can see a whole lot of chewed up branches around Patchie. I then left the two alone and set up the beaver cam. Got it up and running again and set it up right in front of the beaver then where I saw Nick get in the day before. The first visitor is a fox. Call them bushy-tailed fox. And sure enough, at 11:30 at night, the first beaver is leaving the den. Followed by the second one like roughly half an hour later. Our bent-tail fox is checking out the den while the beavers are out. And Patchie goes to bed after 10 o'clock in the morning. And Nick follows roughly 5 minutes later. After 11 at night, they start waking up again and leave the den. The second beaver leaves the den after midnight. Can you spot the heron in the background? Nick goes to bed first this morning. Followed by Patchie a bit later. Patchie seems very tired at this point and slow. A fox comes and checks out the den. And at 11 again, the first beaver leaves the den, followed by the second one at 1 in the morning. Their schedule continues. The wooden log was used as a bridge by a lot of different animals. The camera even recorded a badger using it. I then got lucky again and spotted them in the early morning. Patchie is using the secreted oil to waterproof the fur. And continues eating bark off the branches. Blackie is also still around and is checking out the den. Bent-tail fox came back to mark its territory, followed by the Patchie fox a bit later. This fox was very interested in the den, and even decided to get in. The fox enters the den and comes out a few seconds later. At this point, I really don't know if the beavers were inside or not. And after this incident, I did not have any recordings of them leaving the den or going back in. Beavers can have multiple homes, and maybe they were staying somewhere else at that time point. It got really quiet, and I didn't see any signs of activity around the den. However, beginning of February, all of a sudden there were new beaver tracks. And the camera started recording how the beavers were actually piling up wood in front of the den. Look at this guy walking on his back legs to carry all the wood. It seems like they're closing up the entrance of the den. Look at how precisely he can place this big branch to cover the entrance. This was a very busy night. They piled up all this wood within one night. And this beaver is having troubles with this long stick, which is difficult to handle. They keep working the whole night. The next morning, Arin is checking out the new fortress that the beavers built overnight. And the beavers continue piling up wood in front of the entrance of their den the next night. They're working on it until early in the morning, and here you see how one of them is getting back into the den and going to bed. The bird is back and checking on the progress. Also, the Patchie fox checks out the new entrance of the den. And the beavers continue working on their fortress. Also, Blackie the cat is back and checking it out. Can you identify that it's Nick with the nick in his tail? And it's time again to call it a night and go to bed. A wren and also a robin check out the fortress again. The beavers are still there and working on their entrance or covering up their entrance. But after a few days of very intense labor, it got quiet around this den again. The entrance is now covered up, and I haven't seen any activity lately, and I'm just waiting it out to see when they're back. Please follow this channel for more updates on the beavers. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.